Good evening, YouTube. This is a series review, an anime review, and a series review. We are going to be covering tonight the Hetalia series known as the World Series, which is about 52 episodes in length. I'll let you figure out and total how many episodes we're up to at this point. Now, I'm going to tell you right now. Oh, and if I never actually showed you, by the way, who was on the cover of Season 3, we have the Germany brothers. Yes, I said brothers, because technically they are. That's Prussia, otherwise known as Gilbert Beetleschmidt. That's Ludwig, or Ludwig von Beetleschmidt. And this, I believe, is Spain, who's otherwise known as Antonio, and he's got a really long-ass name. I'm not even trying to pronounce the whole goddamn thing. Then, of course, as I've already shown you, this is Season 4, which has the Nordics featured. By the way, it should be noted, if you have not seen the Standard Edition, on the Standard Edition, supposedly, there you go, only 2 are featured. Iceland is not, in case anybody's interested. So let's talk about this series, and I'm actually going to also be doing a text review for Amazon for Season 4, because I've actually already covered Season 3. It should be noted that Season 3 has a bit of an obstacle if you're trying to get into watching the series. The problem is that a lot of the episodes for that season are on this site. Some have been mirrored to quote-unquote avoid copyright, but other than that, if you've seen them on YouTube, you, for the most part, have already seen a good portion of really the good stuff. Probably the best part of Season 3 is the War of Austrian Succession, otherwise known as the Maria Theresa arc, which involves how our good friend over here, Prussia, took over Silesia from Austria. And of course also how Hungary came back and kicked his ass. Those are probably 2 of the best episodes, at least that I can seriously remember. Towards the very tail end of the series, towards the tail end of the season rather, there was the episode where Germany ended up having to capture Austria, as it were, which is kind of funny. That's because he goes, "We can do this the easy way or the hard way," and it's one of the funniest shits ever. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyway. Here's like your big problem with Season 3. And I'll say, oh, and by the way, for this season, the big deal that they did was they did a thing with, and it actually carries over through Season 4, with Boss Spain and Chiba Romano. Just in case you're wondering, in the first half, there was a Hetalia section of the series. So this time they did it with his brother. By the way, for those wondering, if you don't know, Romano is Southern Italy. Represents Southern Italy. And Verzano represents Northern Italy. Alright? Just so we're clear on that one. Season 3 was okay. The problem was, as I've stated in my Amazon review, stay off of YouTube if you want to watch it. Do yourself a favor and actually buy this. By the way, the dub, of course, is what I was watching, and I will tell you right now, yet again, Mr. Huber, who does the voice acting for Austria, does a bang-up job of voicing the young master, as he's referred. And, it should also be mentioned, in the, quote, teenage version of Austria, that is when he pawns off Romano to Spain. This season, season 4, is probably one of the funniest you'll ever see. And I'm making you this promise right now. If you watch this season, you're gonna laugh your ass off. Here's the deal. Yes, a lot of the bits have been shown on YouTube. Matter of fact, they were part of a trailer. The trailer's from Funimation. But if you can actually see like the whole thing how they build up, it's one of the funnier yet cooler segments of the thing. Probably the best bit in the whole thing is during the Austrian freeloader segment. And of course there's the part which is referred to as Austria's dramatic moment, when he drops a teacup. And of course he's walking, mind you, now I'm in my pajamas, he's walking around basically in his boxers or his undies or whatever, and my man Germany's having to see this, and is like, meanwhile he turns around, he being Austrian, goes, "You saw nothing!" I'm sitting there going, alrighty. There are 4 episodes at the very end of the series which are put on here, which some people have labeled the extra episodes. I don't know if they're necessarily extra, but there were 4 episodes that were added. And one was my personal favorite, which involves the Nordic 5, when Iceland got his DNA test back to find out if he was in fact related to Norway. Well, you'll have to, if you haven't seen the episode, I'm going to let you find out for yourself how it turns out. Oh, and in case you're wondering, there was a very awkward moment there was a very awkward episode, and a very awkward moment, mind you, a segment that involved 2 of the Nordics. And I'll go ahead and tell you, there's Sweden and Finland. Yeah. How do you think that went? I'm going to give the following warning if you're planning on purchasing this series. Don't, again, I said this when I did my review for Axis Powers, do not purchase this series if you are in any way homophobic. The main reason is because there are a lot of pairings that are, of course, there is a predominantly male cast. There are some females. One, of course, is Hungary, although she's a bit of a gender bender. There's Belgium. She showed up in one episode when I think the Netherlands showed up. And there's also, I call her Say because I can't actually fully pronounce it. It's Seychelles. But I call her Say. So, if anybody actually knows how to fully pronounce it, by all means, jump in the comment. Thank you. But, on a whole, how do I rate this series? Well, if you're an Axis Power, if you're a fan of the Axis Powers and you pick this up, Season 3 is going to be a bit of a downer. Just a little bit. And then you get to Season 4 and then you're laughing your ass off. It should be noted that the theme song actually does change about episode 10 into Season 3, and then it changes back to the original song in the very final extra episode, which I'm kind of curious as to why that happened. But, by the way, I'll actually put the names of the songs in the description because I have to go look them up again. But, on a whole, I would recommend it, but I do recommend, again, if you're going to watch Season 3, please, don't watch it on YouTube. It'll spoil a lot of the fun. Watch Season 1 episodes or something. Just don't watch Season 3. Oh, I should mention this, and this was the one thing that kind of bugged me about the whole thing. The very last episode of Season 4 deals with Prussia and Hungary. There's an episode earlier in the season that deals with the same two, and what I call the crotchcloth caper. Okay? Now, it would almost seem to make more sense to have put the episode with Prussia and Hungary when they're kids before the crotchcloth, because then it would make more sense. Because here's the funniest part. It actually gets referenced in that episode in the crotchcloth caper. So you kind of sat there and wondered as a viewer, why didn't they just put those two episodes together? Actually, it turns into like a 3-episode, or why don't you just put those 3 episodes together and be done with it? I don't know. I was trying to figure that one out, to be honest. That didn't really bug me, but it was just this curiosity. Just something I thought about. You have a great night, and I shall talk to you in a very near future, because soon we'll be going back to Crunchyroll. Alrighty? You have a great night. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.